We're back! What? Oh god.
Oh no.
Not that Link.
Uh-oh.
No, Link!
Child?
Stop it. Here we go. Giant dead Dodongo. When it sees red, a new way to go will be open. This is a terrible poem.
Okay, Gorons aren't known for their...
Thespian skills?
No.
Or writing skills?
No.
Or anything? I can roll good.
Okay, you sure can. You know what? You got that going for you.
Well, that's the thing, like...
I heard of it.
What?
Is that a Skulltula?
No, that's the platform.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh, right, I have to activate it. All this shit.
All that shit.
Alright, here we go.
Bimps.
Well, thank God we still have Zelda's letter.
Thank goodness.
There we go. And boop. Alright. Thank God. Ah!
How did that happen?
Not one word. No! No! I just want to be the hero of time. There we go. I don't think it made it in, did it? It did. I don't think it said giant dead Dodongo in the original version. I think it just said, like, when the skull sees red or something modestly more poetic than dead Dodongo! I did it!
You did it.
Well. What does it say in the Simpsons ride at Universal? Welcome to a magical journey through my mouth.
Oh man. That is...
God damn it! What is happening?
I think I hit the ceiling.
Oh. No! It keeps chasing me.
Just set it down.
No.
Simpsons ride is not a bad ride.
It just starts following me. Oh no. What we got here?
What you got? Money.
Ah, $5.
You can't carry.
Oh, am I maxed out?
You're maxed out.
Fuck! The whole maxed out wallet thing is dumb.
Yeah.
It's just it's a limiter.
In games, it's dumb. In real life, it should maybe be a thing.
Oh yeah.
Some people don't need as much money as they have.
No, no. No, you know, that's actually very true. How can I... Oh, I can't get to it from here, can
Wasn't there stuff that you didn't explore back the way you came?
Back the way I... This way?
Yeah. Just go to your left.
Was there not?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right there. But it's gonna be another one of those bastards trying to sell you something you don't need.
Well, let's find out. Well, it gave me a dingle-dangle.
It sure did. Oh, it's two of them.
What fresh delights.
Oh, wonderful. Watch out.
In return, I'll sell you...
Uh-huh. Bye.
Whoa!
Uh-huh. I want to kill your friend.
Can you just kill these guys, like...
Just murder them.
No, sure.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine. We're having
Hey,
fun.
You know what? Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
No. The battle is the battle. I really just wanted someone to scream that at the end of the PSA. It's like, no, the battle was the battle.
It's the battle, though.
I guess I can just...
Careful
I have
for
to,
those
like,
things, though, yeah.
go all the way back and...
Wham, wham.
Wait, can I go... No! I just want to... What does Zim say? Why must this be?
It hurts! What does it hurt?
I liked it when he said, why must this be? And it was, what was that when he said that?
Oh, I don't remember.
He was like, I think it was when he was, I think it was the water balloon fight or something. And it was just like the water, he's like, why must this be?
Oh, God. What a good show.
Yep. So Ganon.
So Ganon.
Yeah, so to recap from the last episode, I cut Rebekah off at the pass, but basically there has been a contingent online that has been like, I'm tired of Ganon.
Yeah, I've seen...
It's always Ganon.
I have seen not a small number of people complaining that, like, there's no surprise because it's always Ganon. Like, it's always going to be Ganon. And I'm like, yeah. Like, yes.
Yeah. It's always going to be Link.
It's always going to be Link. It's always going to be Zelda. I don't know why you have suddenly different rules for Ganon. I find that weird.
I mean, I think that... then again, I think there are people who are like, well, I'd like a Zelda game where you don't play as Link.
Sure. It's usually not the same people having that conversation, though.
No, that is true.
But, yeah, like, I've seen this argument, like I said, not a small amount of times, where people are like, I'm tired of Ganon. It's always Ganon at the end of every game, like, you know. And they're like, I think it's time to retire Ganon and get rid of him. And I'm like, no. You can't do that. Like, he's just as important as Link and Zelda. That'd be like saying... Yeah, it'd be like saying, I'm tired of Zelda. It's time we retire her for a new princess. Like, that's not how that works, though.
How are you supposed to... Oh.
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah, it's...
You know, and I'm like, I'm fine with the idea of, like, trying to do something new with it. Like, I've seen someone say, like, I don't want to get rid of Ganon, but maybe he doesn't have to be the villain every time. They can actually try something different with this character.
No!
Nailed it.
I don't think I did any of that right. So I think I tried that before. Whatever. I'm down here. That's all that matters.
You're down here now.
I'm here now.
But
so yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm cool with the idea of like trying to do something new with him. Like, some people have suggested, like, what if you redeemed him and he was actually like either an ally or kind of a nebulous character where it's like he's more of an ambivalent, you know, not really an ally, but not really an enemy. And it's like, that'd be very interesting, but...
He's a presence.
Yeah, he's a presence. And, like, he should still have the Triforce of Power, because, again, like...
That's it's called the Triforce.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, I feel like it's not narratively sound to be like, the Triforce is very important and tied to these three characters, but I think one is less important than the other two. Like, you know, it feels weird to me.
Well, it's because I can see people saying, like, well, I wish that... I mean, I get it. Like, I do get, like... again, just that frustration of, like, yeah, it's always Ganon. Mm-hmm. And... it doesn't feel like that was, I think it was the first time people really started saying that was Twilight Princess. Mm-hmm. When you introduce this new villain who is Zant, mm-hmm. and then you're like, oh, he's not actually the villain. It's the other guy. It's Ganon.
See, I almost think that was more interesting, because I think Zant being kind of just a pathetic, like, because Zant has such a fucking presence when you first meet him.
Right, he's so threatening.
And to find out, no, he's a little pissant, and he's a pawn of someone else, made him actually more interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Do I go with this?
I also just love Ganon in that game. I think it's a fucking stellar...
It's one
of his best designs.
It's a great design. It's a great, I feel like I went the wrong way. Or I didn't go the wrong way, but I feel like I missed something. Probably another Deku scrub. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, you see the screen just jitter? Mm-mm. Stroke.
Maybe.
Yeah, I just want to see a little more nuance from Ganon.
I think it's it's suggesting the wrong solution to a problem.
Right.
You know, it's saying, like, I'm tired of Ganon always being the go-to enemy for these games, so get rid of Ganon? I'm like, that's not a good solution, because then aren't you just gonna have the same problem? Like...
Well...
You know?
Yeah, I mean, that to me is, like, is more people just being like, God damn it, these do not last as long. That's what it is. That's what's throwing me off. There we go. And I think that the people who tend to say, oh, crap. Oh, it's a Skulltula.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of Skulltula versus Skulltula? Did we have this conversation?
Probably, but I still maintain it should be Skulltula.
Skulltula?
Yeah.
Skulltula?
Like, don't get me wrong, I understand the reasoning behind Skulltula, but it sounds bad. It's a bad mouth word. Right?
Bad mouth feel.
Bad mouth feel.
Uh-oh. Oh, right. Yeah. The people who tend to say, like, we'll just get rid of him, those people... Oh, no! I lost my shield!
Oh, no! Well, you're gonna have to go find one of those Dekus, huh?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, how the
No.
turns have tabled.
I'm so upset now. No! I hate the keys. I hate them so much. They're bad. They're bad and they should feel bad. Where are you, little fucker?
Probably on the other side of the wall where you can't see him.
Give me your guff. Those people, you know, that's just such a limiting way to think of narrative.
Yeah.
You know, of like... It honestly, it's the same... No! Come here. No, you little... Fine. I mean, it's not like King Dodongo's all that hard.
Yeah.
Still, though.
Break these, maybe we'll get another one. Or
Nope.
not. Fuck you, I guess.
No, but like, I feel like it's a similar school of thought to like people who, just as an example, who will watch an adaptation of something and then say like, well, that character wouldn't do that. And it's like, well, it's... I mean, I understand historical precedent, but it's also like, it's all make-em-ups. Like, it's... You can do whatever you want. It's like, to use a very topical subject, it's like Kelly Marie Tran's character in Rise of Skywalker. I know you haven't seen it.
Nope.
God damn it. And J.J. Abrams saying, well, I don't know that character, so I basically just cut her out of the story. And I'm like, this major part of the last episode?
Be a writer.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Do your job.
Your job as a writer is to figure that out.
It's almost like J.J. Abrams is a bad writer.
Interesting that there's a Gerudo symbol on that stone.
Is that what that is? Mm-hmm. Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that is the symbol of the Gerudo.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Why is that here?
Why is it?
Oh, why indeed?
Why is it? But yeah, and I feel like, you know, it's people, it's just, it's exactly what it is. It's lazy writing. It's people who don't, you know, you know, or I'm also reminded of, I feel like I've talked about this elsewhere, but the live action version of Attack on Titan, which, like, people fucking hate that movie. And I think it's kind of undeserved hate because the movie went in a totally different direction. It was a completely, it was a different reinterpretation of the events in a different context. Like, it took place in what was the shattered ruins of our world, not the fantasy world that Attack on Titan actually takes place in.
Yeah.
Because they wanted a different aesthetic. They just... Rawr, infernal dinosaur! You infernal dinosaur! I'm sure people made that joke.
Killed my babies.
You.
But...
Oh, right. Shit, not the right one.
Yep.
Whoa, I did not know it followed you.
Nope.
If I just stay here, though, I bet I can avoid him. Aha! Whoa, 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 whoa! Didn't know that happened.
Oh.
I don't want to hear it.
But, yeah, I think... Just the idea of, like, well, just get rid of Ganon. I'm like, that's narratively not sound.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's treating one of three, like, key characters of this game like they're disposable. And I'm not about that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that. Again, that to me would be like, well, just get rid of Link or just get rid of Zelda. And I'm like, that's not what you do, though. Like I said, I think it's a...
Oh.
it's a bad solution to a problem.
Right.
It's the wrong solution to a problem because it's like what you're tired of seeing the same narrative over and over again. That has nothing necessarily to do with the character.
Right.
Because you can do something different with the character.
Uh-oh. I thought he sucked it in. Hello.
I know. Because
Yeah.
again, it's like, well, if you just replace him, what is that actually doing? You know.
Well, again, it's like I hate to sound like an elitist prick, but God damn it!
But go on.
Well, these tend to be people who don't super understand how narrative works. You know, these are the same sort of people who will.
I mean, I don't know because I've heard it. Like I said, I've heard it from some of those channels that do very good like analysis of Zelda games and stuff, and like, you know, reading into stories and plot and everything like that. And I'm like, this is a shallow take. I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like it's one that.
I mean, I'm just thinking of the thousands and upon thousands of YouTubers who post their think pieces, and they tend to be kind of all interchangeable because they complain about things without fully. It's like somebody I was arguing with a YouTuber I know, which is a not ideal. There we go.
You did it.
I was arguing with a YouTuber, this is my want, and he was arguing that all characters should have development, and that if they don't, that is a narratively inferior product. And I'm all like, Ghostbusters has like no character development.
Yeah.
The characters in Ghostbusters in the movie, the way they start the movie, the dynamics of their relationships might change, but the characters don't grow.
Yeah.
Except almost all of them already understood that ghosts existed, and even Venkman was like, who didn't fully comprehend that ghosts existed, pretty much cottoned onto it immediately and was like, oh, we can make money out of this, which is in line with his character. And I was having to try to explain to this person what a flat character arc was, which is an actual thing in screenwriting. And he was saying that he was trying to argue with me that it didn't exist. And he just, and of course you're already having a rough time arguing with this person. Dirty me, good you!
I'm gonna need you to pump the brakes on that one a bit.
Wicked wants to, again, eat those rocks.
Yeah, like...
Wicked wants to eat those rocks. What was his voice? Anyway.
Look at those, just blank, hollow eyes.
Dead black eyes. Doll's eyes.
Anyway.
Yeah, so he was trying to argue, and of course one of the problems of arguing with one of these people who has a social media following is they think that gives them legitimacy, as opposed to the reality of it, which is chances are your following just already agreed with you, and you're just reinforcing their opinions. I don't know, like...
Well, it's like the argument of like, oh, the best villains are the ones that like have character and are doing something for a reason and think they're the hero in their story, and I'm like... Maleficent's one of the best villains of all time, and she's just evil to be evil.
She's just...
Like...
Yeah.
She's just like, no, fuck this child in particular. Like...
Well, there's... That's why, honestly, the prequel version of Darth Sidious is the best version, because he's so evil, just for the sake of being... He just loves it. He loves being evil. And that's a fun interpretation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly one of the reasons why I took so much issue with the Joker movie, because it did the one thing that, while again, I do kind of maintain that nothing is sacred and you should be able to reinterpret stuff, they did something where I think that they shouldn't have done, which is they made the Joker not scary anymore. They made him a put upon... Sympathetic. He's get away from me! Bad touch! They just made him, they oh, I guess they're gone.
Do you think it would have been a more interesting movie if it had not been explicitly the Joker, but been a character who was definitely like a nod towards the Joker?
I think that could have been interesting.
Where
but
it could have been a really interesting think piece where it's like, this is definitely a nod towards the Joker, but it isn't the actual Joker.
Well,
And therefore, we've separated this villain from this exploration.
Honestly, like, I actually think that you could make the story work with a few minor tweaks. God damn it!
And they are bouncy, huh?
Yeah, you can make the story work with a few minor. God, it's fine. You could make the story work with a few minor tweaks. Specifically, there is a recurring element, or not even a recurring element. It's just this thing that's almost accidental because I don't think the filmmaker is very good at what he does. Which is implied that the Joker is an unreliable narrator, which again is a very interesting. It's an interesting take.
Yeah.
But it's never. But they don't even like lean into it really.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, these are just getting harder and harder, aren't they? Because like, and basically like it should be that line from, like, I think it would be really interesting to essentially make a film out of the line from The Killing Joke, which is, if I must have a past, I'd rather it be multiple choice. And you essentially get this, and again, this is something that Jenny Nicholson theorized. What she suggested was, you could have it, the framing device, be the Joker in an insane asylum, and he is conveying this story, but the story is inconsistent, and at certain points, his therapist is like, wait a minute, I thought that this was this, and he's like, oh, was it?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Anyway. And it just, and that to me is much more, oh, that's right, there's a cow in here.
Yeah.
That to me is so much more interesting because it lends this level of threat that makes the Joker compelling, because the Joker doesn't do what he does traditionally. I know, dangerous territory. But the Joker doesn't do what he does traditionally because he has some sort of mission statement or whatever. He's amusing himself. He thinks it's funny. And he has this pathological... Oh, right, you can milk the cow if you want.
Get more of that milk.
Milk.
Well, it's almost like there's a good concept when it comes to making monsters.
Right.
And it's that, you know, a lot of what scares us is the unknown. Like, almost all of our fears, they come back to either the unknown or powerlessness.
Right.
You know, so it's like...
Also, that's why Bloodborne's so effective.
You know, and you can attribute that to a lot of things. Like disease, powerlessness, like a lot of monsters, they're the unknown, we don't understand them.
Right.
Powerlessness, like death is the unknown. It's a lot of that kind of stuff. If you really, really boil down why we are afraid of certain things, they boil down to the unknown and powerlessness.
Right.
So, when you take a monster and you start to pick it apart and figure out why it is the way it is, it stops being a monster. Because now it is something that you can explain and dissect, and it becomes a creature. You know, it's the difference between cryptozoology and zoology. And so I feel like with the movie The Joker, it's like, okay, it's not really scary anymore because he's no longer a villain, he's a character that we now know the history to, and we know his story and his backstory, and we can pick him apart as, you know, this person. Whereas, like, part of what made the Joker intimidating was, you know, obviously, like, he is chaotic and we, you know, can't control him, but we didn't understand him. Like, we didn't know his history, we didn't know his past, like, we didn't know his, you know, capital T, capital P, tragic past. Like,
right, yeah.
You know, it's like he was the unknown. He was just the Joker, and you almost felt like he was always there.
Right.
Know? As opposed to Batman, whose past we know, therefore we sympathize with him and he is the hero.
Right, and I also feel like there is a, like, there is a something very... The thing that also rubbed me the wrong way about that movie was because it felt like so much wish fulfillment, but wish fulfillment specifically for douchey Joker fans.
Yeah.
People who identify with the Joker.
It's a little bit tone deaf in our
current environment.
Day and age.
Oh, yeah. I feel like a tragic past can make for a great monster, specifically a great villain. I'll talk to you later. Let me just see if I can get a little fucking... Nope, that's fine. Okay, I feel like like, for example, you know I'm a fan of Transformers. Well, in the comics, especially, there we go. It's your wife.
My wife.
My wife. In the comics for the Transformers, they have really leaned into XAY. They've really leaned into this idea of, like, why did Megatron do what he do how he do?
Do what he do.
Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
And because it ties into the war and how the civil war on this planet made him to what he is, but he also more or less started the war.
Yeah.
And it gets into this very interesting, because Megatron is supposed to be scary. He's supposed to be, like, inexplicably powerful. And, I mean, in order to command all the Decepticons, he kind of has to be. Yeah. He has to be scary on some level. But the fear comes from his interaction with the other characters. Yeah. And, like, you don't know what exactly he's going to do, but it's one of the reasons why he wins a lot of the time when fighting the Autobots, because he's actually really good at this. Yeah. And that's what makes him scary. Even when you learn his past, which in the comics, which has also been spilled over in some of the other media, he was a miner. He like a wage slave, essentially. It was all very, like, this origin came from James Roberts, who worked he was a social worker in the UK, who then started writing for comics. So he took a lot of his experience and put it into the story of Cybertron, and how Meg's, sorry.
The thing is, I agree that a backstory can make a very interesting villain. I don't think that Joker is one of those villains that necessarily qualifies.
Right.
Because it's the difference, like I said, it's the difference between the monster and the creature.
Yeah, the monster and
a villain can be a creature or a monster. Like,
interesting.
Even if they are both human, you know.
That's very interesting.
And I would say that Joker is more of a monster.
That's a very interesting perspective. I guess I hadn't considered it like that, because with Megatron, I think about how he, like I said, he was a miner, he was a wage slave. They shut down his mine essentially to save money.
Because there's a lot of villains in the Batman universe that have very interesting backstories.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Victor Freeze and Two-Face.
Joker's not one of them.
Yeah.
Joker was scary because he was the unknown and he was unpredictable.
And,
you know?
Yeah, and that is kind of one of the things that makes him the ultimate Batman villain. Like, the other characters are fun in their own right, but they're not... they're not gonna... Some of them, I always roll my eyes a little bit whenever Ra's al Ghul is a villain, because I just kind of find Ra's al Ghul to be boring.
I don't even know which one that is.
He's the guy whose daughter, Talia, is in love with Batman, and he is the immortal guy who goes in the Lazarus pit and is all like, I'm immortal now. You don't remember any of that?
I didn't understand half the words you just said.
I thought maybe something would spark your memory.
I might visually recognize him, but no. He's not one I know at all.
Oh, it's this guy.
Oh, that's sad sack.
This sad piece of shit.
Hey, buddy.
People are discussing my own father and mother are discussing you. You must be disgusting too. Should I play a song for you?
I feel like you're an asshole.
I feel like if I play a song for him...
You problem.
No, you know what? He's part of a larger quest chain, and I don't want to start that.
Yeah.
Well, now...
He's part of the Lost Woods quest chain.
Yeah, well, now we can go start on the next dungeon. Ooh. So you got about one...
Is that the Jabba Jabs?
That's the Jibba Jibs.
Yeah.
The Jibbly 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 Boop. We need BAMs, though.
Bams.
BAMs. So we have 2 BAMs.
I need some bams.
Want some of this? Huh? I'm over it.
Did you know? So, like, you know when you fight these
Jesus.
guys, and every now and then, like, a really big one will show up?
No. What?
You never seen that?
No.
Yeah. They're not harder to fight. They're just larger.
Oh, I think I do know what you're talking about. I guess when I think of a really big one, I think of like a giant one. Hey.
Like, no, I thought that was one for 1 second. I don't remember how.
Oh, his head came off. Ah.
Yeah, hang around, kill some, see if one will show up. Anybody? Anyone want to play?
I like you can see the lights in Lon Lon Ranch from here.
Oh, it's getting too close to daylight.
Yeah. Oh, I got some more bombs. BAMs.
But yeah, every time, like, when you fight those guys, every now and then, like, a slightly larger one will show up.
Mm-hmm.
What that is that there's actually a counter, and, like, how many you kill.
Oh.
It's like, after X amount of kills of those guys, another one will show up that's larger. If you kill, so, like, we'll say it's 10. I don't think it's actually 10, but we'll say arbitrarily. You kill 10 Stalfos, then a slightly larger Stalfos will show up. You kill 10 more, then another even slightly larger Stalfos will show up.
Interesting.
You kill another 10, and an even slightly larger one will show up.
I am not familiar with this.
Each of them getting progressively larger. And the thing is, they can only get so large because the nighttime lasts only so long.
Right.
But people have, like, found a way, you know, like, through, you know, cracking the code of the game, they found a way to basically pause night and see how big they can get a
Oh my
fucking
god,
Stalfos.
really?
Yeah.
I've got to look up. I am completely, never, you're blowing my mind. You're, wow.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Weird game coding thing.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and we'll call this an episode.
Episode.
Just the one.
Just the one.
And yeah, because we're about to go on a fish adventure.
Ooh, fish adventure.
Fishy. We're gonna kiss a fish.
Yum. That's it.
I like that's it's good. It's good. It's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 episode, huh?
Yep.